chat going. Reminder, and I'll say it right here at the front, that while I will make an attempt to keep up with the chat, the only thing that will actually guarantee that I see your comment or question is to do it as a super chat, which will also get you the little gay heart of appreciation. So, hope everybody is doing well. Shift that a little bit. You have wine, Nico? Hope it's good. I'm gonna let that cool. That's not quite ready yet. I hope you enjoyed it, Ms. Wicked Wolf. That is not high on my priority list. I actually keep forgetting that it's already out. Kahlua and coffee and hot chocolate, actually. It is quite the blend. Like to mix it up. Oh, that there. Yeah, I'm aware, Ms. Wicked Wolf. I don't really care about that either. It will be, hopefully, Neko. I need to wait for it to cool a little bit. This candle's on its last legs. There we go. There we are. Oh no, it might actually be toast. No, it's toast. All right, gotta get another one out. I'm not gonna do that right now, but that's it for this one. That was my Maleficent scented candle. Smelled like evil. Oh, hey, Miko. Good to see you here, even if you're just stopping by for a few minutes. Almost didn't show up tonight. GF had surgery, and I've been watching and helping her for the past few days. That's very good of you, Coyote. I hope that recovery goes well. Started watching Has Been Hotel. Is it weird to say I feel like they swear too often in that show? It feels like they're doing it just to do it. I cited that show in a video I did about a year ago, talking about how cartoons that swear are a little too enamored with the swearing. Not in a way that's offensive, but in a way that's like, can you not think of something else to say? So yeah, no, I don't think that's a weird observation. Good evening to you as well. What does Maleficent smell like? Officially, trying to see if they have the description of the scent on here, because like I did like it. I'm not plum, berries, and wood. So kind of going for a slightly sinister, naturey scent. Hey, Starbush, good to see you. Watching Indiana Jones movies. Interesting to be doing around Thanksgiving. It's a very colonizer series, after all. I liked Indiana Jones, don't get me wrong, but you know, the colonialism is kind of baked in. Oh, that's pretty hot. All right, gonna give that another minute. Hope everybody is doing well. I don't know how we're this close to the end of the year. I do not understand how that happened at all. That is mind-boggling to me. Do you think Thanksgiving is too close to Christmas for a turkey food holiday? Well, I don't know how it is around where you are, old web shooter, but Christmas is a lot more open-ended than Thanksgiving. Like, at least in my experience. Thanksgiving is a turkey holiday. Now, Christmas can be a turkey holiday. It does not have to be, though. I've had many a Christmas dinner that is something other than turkey. So I think if you are tired of turkey, which turkey's an underrated meat, to be honest. I feel like people slag off turkey way too much. They're like, oh, they only eat it because it's tradition. It's not even that good. I think turkey's awesome. I love turkey. So I wouldn't have that problem anyways. GF has me watching Gold Rush and The Last Woodsman. I have no idea what that is or what those things are. I don't know if that is one thing or two things you just named. No idea. I got a little. There we go. That's better. I'd spilled a little bit of the hot chocolate on the handle of the mug, and I did not care for the feel of the texture of that. Those are 2 reality shows on Discovery. Oh, okay. I never really got into Discovery as a channel, and I really never got into reality shows. At least not those kinds. And even the kinds I was into, I dropped a long time ago. UK based, so we always have turkey on the day itself. Boxing Day is usually some other meat. Yeah, Boxing Day isn't a thing in the US. I watched your interview with that storyboard artist. Oh, I hope you found it interesting, 255. I was real happy with how that turned out. I'm still in touch with him, too. I'm on Temple of Doom, still a downgrade from Raiders. Hot take, Temple of Doom is the worst Indiana Jones movie. Fight me. I legit would rather rewatch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or Dial of Destiny before I would rewatch Temple of Doom. So that is my hot take of the evening. There may be more. We'll see if you folks can coax more hot takes out of me. Hey, Adrian. I'm doing just fine. Hope you're doing well. Worst Muppet movie? I don't know. Probably one of the made for the Disney Channel ones. I haven't seen those. The theatrically released ones are all pretty solid. At least you have Last Crusade to look forward to, the best one. I don't personally think Last Crusade is the best one, but I will not argue with people who think that it is. I think that is a perfectly fine viewpoint to have. I haven't seen the recent Indiana Jones movie yet. It's not bad, Adrian. They spent way too much damn money on it. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's okay. By the way, you might have said, and I missed it, was that person leaning non-binary or a trans man? R2 uses primarily masculine pronouns, is okay with they, so like he's trans masculine for sure. I don't think he identifies strictly as a trans man. That's kind of like asking, am I non-binary or trans woman? Like, there's a lot of us that lean directions but are kind of in neither place. Jamie Dodger put out a list of non-Harry Potter magical books to read. Then I have to expand my book budget. You could read my book, Neko. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably didn't shout that one out. Not too many people have. Nobody's read it. But, you could. I think the second Back to the Future film is the least good. Agreed. It feels unintentional and made the best of what they set up in the first film, whereas the third is fully formed to me. Agreed. Yeah, by and large, I agree with that. Old web shooter. Just snowed where I am for the first time this year. Can it not be sunny? It's winter. Gabriel, I don't know what to tell you. This is the deal. This is what happens. What do you think of Judy Gatwa? What, like, as a person? As an actor? As the Doctor? You gotta narrow it down. That's a broad freaking question. Gonna watch Wicked for good this Friday after Thanksgiving with my friend. I can't wait to see how they adapt the second act. I hope you like it, Harriet. I'm probably not gonna bother until it's on streaming. Sorry, as the Doctor. He was fun. I feel like if I was going to truly fall in love with him, I needed one more season than we had. Not that that was a guarantee, but he kind of sits alongside folks like Whitaker and Davison, where I feel like I never fully got hooked into them. It's not for the same reason for all three of them, to be clear. In his case, I just felt like I was waiting to see the depths underneath. I felt like I got his bravado and his surface level persona, and I enjoyed it, but I'm like, is there more underneath? I think there is, and I want to see it. And we just never really got the chance. So, God was the most let down by the writing actor. No, Whitaker is. Look, I have my issues with this latest era of Doctor Who, but Whitaker was badly let down by the writing. She frequently wasn't even characterized in episodes. She basically was just given all the exposition. And bless her for trying, but no, she was badly let down. I'd say more so than Gatwa. I recently started listening to your audiobook, but I made the mistake of doing so before bed, so I fell asleep way too early to form an opinion on it. Well, Miko, I hope that you back up, figure out where you left off, and enjoy it from there. Aaliyah does have a voice that I could imagine falling to sleep to. She has a very ethereal, almost kind of bedtime story voice, which is part of why I was so happy that I got her for the audiobook. Watch Jenny Nicholson's Ancient Pandora Avatar Park vid. What excellent fun. Oh, I'm aware of Jenny Nicholson. I don't really follow her, so I wasn't aware. I don't think Whitaker was as well cast as Gatwa. I suppose it depends on what you mean by that. My response to that would be Whitaker was just not written for as well. Because, like, how well somebody is cast in a role also depends on how well that role is written for them and what they can bring. And Whitaker's era, by and large, felt very minimally tailored to what it was she could have brought to the part. But I don't think that's an issue of casting. Again, I think that's an issue of writing. So, Gatwa did at least get a few really great episodes. 73 Years, Dot and Bubble, Story in the Engine. Yes! It's a shame there weren't more, but that's also slightly bumping up against there are not nearly enough episodes in the season issue. No Crunchy, there are 3. The most recent one effectively has that as an element. Unpopular opinion, I didn't like Story in the Engine. I think it was too static and exposition heavy for my liking. And that's fair. Like, it doesn't have to work for you. I liked it. I thought it was the best one of that season. It is not nearly as good as either 73 Yards or Dot and Bubble. So, Oh, Crunchy, you're one of those the later movies don't exist. You're one of those fans. Gotcha. So did you miss my searing hot take that Temple of Doom is the worst Indiana Jones movie? You might have missed it. Gatwa wasn't effectively in 73 yards. That's true, but I think that isn't really a factor one way or another. I think that is just an absolutely gorgeously written piece of fiction, whether he's in it or not. My top 3 Gatwa episodes are all not solely written by RTD: Boom, The Well, and Story in the Engine. The Well, if they hadn't tied it to midnight, I would have liked it better. And like, that is a superficial thing, and maybe my issues with that'll fade with time. I don't know. We'll see. I think the Robot Revolution was the best written episode of season 2, but Lux is my favorite. Lux grew on me as time went on. I was kind of underwhelmed by it initially. As time went on, I came to like that one better. How am I doing? I'm doing okay, Romana. Temple is the worst, but it's my favorite because it's so schlocky. Fair enough. Oh, that's good. Dang. Whoo. Yeah, 73 yards was great, but not reflective of Shooty. I mean, you could also argue that Blink was great, but not really very reflective of Tennant. You know. I think The Well was originally its own, but Russell jumped on it to tie it to midnight, and that was it. Yeah, I've heard that. I can't remember if I verified that or not. Regardless, like, it's deeply unnecessary in my mind. I don't think it adds anything, personally. Are we excited for the war between the land and the sea? No. I'm not dreading it. But no, excitement is not among the top emotions that I'm feeling towards it right now. I did, funnily, I recorded a podcast with Jesse last night, and we kind of had a laugh about how much would it hurt and feels like I can't decide if I would be happy or infuriated if War Between the Land and the Sea turns out really good. Like it's the new Children of Earth, like something that is a spinoff that has no business being anywhere near as good as it is. And I think that might actually make me more upset than if it's just meh. We'll see. Recently, we rewatched The Wolf of Wall Street. There was a scene where Jordan Belfort is seeing a dom and she just ignores his safe word as played for laugh. Is that offensive to sex workers? No. It's just bad kink practice. Offensive? No. Annoying? Yeah. Not everything immediately upgrades to offensive. Just saw The Running Man last week. It's not bad. I actually enjoyed it. I just feel releasing it in the fall was a bad time. I think it would have done better in the summer. Then it wouldn't have to deal with a massive competition like Wicked for Good. I've heard very mixed things about that movie. I don't know. I'll get around to it eventually, probably. It's funny, Nick. I looked at Pete. I don't know if it's McTeague or McTie, but I looked at his work on Doctor Who, and I'm like, I don't super love any of these, but each one was better than the last one. Like, the first one he wrote was his worst because it was Kerblam, which is fun until you think about it for 2 seconds, then it's kind of horrifying. Praxius, which was totally fine. Lucky Day, which I think was one of the better ones of season 2. He's gotten better. I'm excited because the trailers look so good. But then again, so did season 2. See, like, I am hard pressed to think of the last time I was like, oh, the trailer looks so good. I just don't think of trailers in those terms. I think I know too much about entertainment, and I've been doing this too long. I think I don't look at trailers the way other people look at trailers. Would you ever accept them reinstating the original Reality War ending and giving a 3 special story to let Shooty go in a more fair way? Now they can give him specifics of when they can shoot. I mean, they won't ever do that. Like, are you asking what I would think if they did that? Well, they won't. Like, that's never going to happen. There's 0% chance of that happening. Do you agree with the comparisons people are drawing between the war between the land of the sea and children of Earth? I don't know why anyone's like, I drew the comparison as a joke, and that was strictly in terms of the quality. Are people actually trying to draw comparisons? How? Why? It's not out. What are you basing that on? What would anyone base that comparison on? My favorite reviewer liked Running Man, so I'll give it a chance on streaming. Well, fair enough. Did you watch any Doctor Who on Doctor Who Day? I didn't. I had too much other stuff going on. Although I discovered Doctor Who Day is also International Polyamory Day. I'm really built for this life. Romana, I am sipping a mixture of coffee, hot chocolate, creamer, and Kahlua. I didn't see anything Who related on Who Day because I was at a craft fair. That's a solid reason. I've started my apprenticeship to become a library assistant and it's going super well. That's great, Miko. I'm glad to hear that. The new Scrubs continuations teaser came out. Oh, that's a thing now? I have legit lost track of like the continuations and the late revivals. I'm like, what? 2 seasons. That's all it'll get. That really is the rule of thumb with these things. With these long-awaited revivals. 2 seasons tops. Like the only real exception that I can think of is the Connors, which is in a weird place because that was like a reboot of a revival and like has its own weird thing because of the stuff that happened with Roseanne Barr. So like that one's kind of the weird exception. Other than that, like 2 seasons, that's been about it for pretty much all this stuff. My Del Toro spoiled brain doesn't like the design of the War Between's fish lady. Yeah, she looks a little too lady, not enough fish. The monster lovers are going to be let down. Remember when people were saying Secret Invasion was going to be Marvel's Andor? No, I do not recall anyone saying that. I do not recall any such claims. I think you're on your own on that one. Have you seen the Trailer Park TARDIS video? Nope, I have no idea what that is. I saw your review of Do the Right Thing. What do I pay for a review of the Spike Lee, of the movie Spike Lee was making in Rent? I don't remember if that was actually supposed to be a specific movie or not. I think it's just a line in the song. I forgot about that. I hear Spike Lee shooting down the street. You know what I thought towards the end of the new Caprica storyline in Battlestar Galactica? Did the Cylons ban any fabrics or wall paints that aren't gray? I mean, yeah. I'm the show's trying to win me back. It's trying to get its hooks back into me, but it has kind of lost me, so it's an uphill battle, I won't lie. Planning to rewatch Everyone Loves Raymond now that the 30th anniversary reunion came out on Paramount Plus. Well, have fun with that. Can we talk about how stupid Sherlock's way of escaping the fall is? By the way, I mean, wasn't the point that they didn't give a specific answer? Like, is that what you're like not is that what we're laughing at, or like any of the specifics that were kind of shown? Like Sherlock, I am a soft Sherlock defender. I feel like a lot of people have gotten really harsh on the show after it ended really badly, which is an instinct I get. But I still have my Sherlock DVDs. They're still good. They're fun. I think part of the problem was people blew that series up into more than it was ever going to support in terms of like relevance or even quality. To be honest. Oh yeah, people were like, Secret Invasion looks like it's going to be serious like Andor. Well, being serious doesn't. Oh yeah. Again, that's one of those things that just doesn't work on me. Like, oh, we're taking this super serious. I'm like, okay, like that has no meaning to me. Like, how serious or not serious you take something is not innately a positive or a negative quality wise, not in my eyes at least. I'm thinking about commissioning you to review something other than a culture novel. Well, that'd be interesting, 255. I know I've still got one from you to get to. I'm getting round to find funding / cracking on anyway with making a graphic novel. Well, good luck with that, Crunchy. Terry Pratchett young adult novel from the 90s. Oh, I'm unfamiliar. I couldn't watch Secret Invasion because I was too sensitive these days with all forms of bodily harm in film, TV. That's fair enough. I mean, Secret Invasion was just not good. Just kind of a mess. Oh, hang on. Oh. Sorry, a little warm in here. There we go. Favorite Thanksgiving foods? I am a sucker for good mashed potatoes. And like, I'm gonna say turkey, but it is about pairing it with stuffing and or cranberry sauce. So here's my biggest problem with the Matt Smith era. Why did the Silence blow up the TARDIS if they wanted to stop the Doctor from releasing the Time Lords and destroying the universe? Because the motivation of the Silence was retrofitted later on and not worked out perfectly well in advance. I think if you're looking for an in-universe explanation, is that the Silence didn't realize that blowing up the TARDIS would result in the chain reaction it did, so they thought it was just going to prevent the Doctor, and they didn't realize what was going to happen. Again, it's kind of cobbled together. I mean, like, the whole point is that Sherlock needed to fool John, but, like, why? If he landed on that massive pad or, like, a fake body or whatever, mortuary workers would have seen, shot his friends. Anyway, I don't know. I just rewatched yesterday and thought it was mad, but obviously we actually don't know how he did it. Yeah, and, like, the point of that entire sequence is it doesn't matter how he did it, which is a cheat, to be fair. Video game culture around 1992. That would be interesting. The only reason I'm mentioning the Secret Invasion Andor thing is because it's the same with Children of Earth war between people. Like, it's giving Children of Earth vibes. It could be good. I'm not getting those vibes at all. Oh, again, I watch trailers differently from other people, so like this entire conversation is kind of leaving me behind. How did they take the nothing character of Mary and somehow make her worse? The stories she was in one, then always off screen. I didn't like how they removed her from the narrative. That having been said, I liked Mary because I liked the chemistry between the performers. And I like the one good episode of season 4 is The Lying Detective, and John dealing with the grief of having lost her is great. Anyways, I am going to pop over to the Discord. Reminder that Council of Geeks Discord is a Patreon exclusive perk. But I'm going to read those questions and I'll be back in a minute. If you want to drop anything that you want me to see right when I come back, Super Chat's the best way to do that. Okay, so this first one is about a video game that I streamed on my secondary channel. I think the ending of Road Trip to the End of the World is probably objectively good, but for me personally, it triggered memories of unpleasant experiences in my life, and that prevented me from being able to really appreciate it. Have you ever had an experience like that with a work of fiction, i.e., this is good, but for personal reasons, I just can't enjoy it? Oh, yeah. I usually note that. It's pretty common for me to note when I'm laying out my issues with something that, like, this is a complaint specific to me. Like, especially when I like point out how much I can't stand cringe, because I know that is not the case for other people. Other people not only are okay with cringe, some people might even seek it out as a form of entertainment. I can't stand it, but I always am sure to note, like, this isn't objectively bad, but this is not for me. So yeah, all the time. Before the new Caprica storyline in Battlestar Galactica, were you under the impression that the human Cylons were directly in charge? Because before that, I've been kind of assuming they were just the representatives of like some grander Cylon intelligence, like a hive mind or something. But that storyline established it is just them verbally arguing and making choices in a very human way that made the Cylons feel way smaller to me. Yeah, I have not. That's been my overriding complaint for the last season or so, is how human the Cylons are the more we learn about them. It makes them infinitely less interesting to me. Not that I even had specific desires of what I wanted them to be, but just that, you know, the more we see them, the more they just act like people. And I'm like, people are boring. Give me weird space robots. Come on, do something weird. And to its credit, where we are right now, which is, you know, getting into season 3, it's starting to be weird again. It's just a question of whether it's a too little too late issue. Is it possible to make Trump/Bill Clinton jokes without just reinforcing actual homophobia? You know, given that these jokes rely on the assumption that two men having oral sex is fundamentally humiliating. I'm not sure that's the main core of those jokes. I mean, it can be, depending on what the specific of the joke is. Most of the jokes that I've heard about it have to do with who these men in specific are. Who they are, what they've said, what they've done, and their relation to each other. It's very specific to them, and it's not... Again, most of the jokes that I've heard are not reliant on the general notion of, oh, guy went down on a guy. Whoa, isn't that crazy? Like, no, it's about these specific dudes. Sorry, I'm just seeing the next 3 questions. So, if you saw my latest video, I noted that I actually have written and published erotica, but I do it under a pen name, and I said in the video that I wouldn't tell you what it is. So the questions here are, can we get a hint of your pen name for your spicy books? No. I presume you said no to the first question, so pretty please. No. Presume you said no again, so see if you change your mind after a sip of water. Water in quotes. That's still a no. Look, if you want a taste of like my spicy writing in general, this is available. You know, you can check out my play. That's always an option. Look, here's the thing with that. Broadly speaking, on a personal level, I don't care. But like in terms of just dealing with how people are about some stuff, I don't want the erotica that I have written and published tied to me. At least some of it I specifically... Like, I'm in the awkward situation where some of the things that I've written, I'm like, honestly, if I were to publish that for the first time now, I'd do that under the Vera Wild name. But it's already out there under a different name. So if I rebrand it, anyone who saw it under the initial name will now know what the pen name is and know what the other stuff that I'm not ready to have tied to me is. So it is what it is. Sorry. Flattered that you're interested, but no. With the rumors of the next Doctor Who Christmas special being a multi-Doctor story, which Doctor would you most like to see make a guest appearance? That's a rumor now? I don't follow the rumors. I also generally don't comment on them. So, no opinion. Why do you think it is that video game remakes are generally much better received than movie remakes? Because of the mechanical aspect. Because the thing with movie remakes, while it is on rare occasions true that like the advances in technology could really enhance the final product, that's usually not the case with the kind of stuff that gets remade, because the kind of stuff that gets remade is stuff that is beloved enough that like people still look to it and go, that's still really good, even understanding the technical limitations of the time. With video games, because the nature of mechanics in video games evolves so much, and from everything from just what the standards are to quality of life improvements to the technology just legitimately enabling the game to actually be what the original vision was and not be nearly as compromised. I think that leap is much greater in video games than it is in films. Because like if you remake a movie from, I don't know, the 80s, like the most advanced stuff would be CGI, and depending on the story that may or may not be relevant. But other than that, like movies were shot the same, they were made the same, like different technology, yeah, but the end result is largely kind of looks the same. You look at a video game from the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, you look at one now, it's not just a visual improvement, the very nature of how you interact with them has drastically changed. So I think like the quintessential example of that is something like the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, because those original games were not only, large blocky polygons, but also tank controls and fixed cameras, which were awkward and clunky and not really great for navigating the space. It's what worked at the time, but there are better solutions now. It's also why the Resident Evil 4 remake was nowhere near as necessary, because that was a much smaller leap. That was largely just a graphical overhaul. And I think that's what you'll generally find with video game remakes. When it's only a graphical overhaul, well, that's not a remake, it's a remaster anyways. But like when you're actually doing ground up, it's usually because like the technology and what is possible has shifted so much that to actually ask modern players to try and play that old thing, it is legitimately a barrier to entry. And not just in the way of like watching an old movie and going, well, the effects don't look as good as they do now. That's a barrier most people can get over. Video games, you are stuck with those mechanics, those clunky mechanics for not just the runtime of a movie, but for 8, 12, 20 hours, you're stuck with how clunky that feels. And so there is a much more legitimate argument to making it accessible to newer potential fans of the thing, I think, with video games than with movies. That having been said, are there too many remakes? Yeah, probably. I think it says a lot about the current state of video games that people seem to get more excited at remakes of old things than they do for any of the new stuff, but that's another conversation. Barring reality shows and foreign language shows, the 10 TV shows with the lowest IMDb score right now are Santa Inc., The Secret Life of the American Teenager, Inhumans, Charmed, Batwoman, The Walking Dead, World Beyond, Resident Evil, The Idol, Velma, and The Acolyte. Which of these have you seen, and do you think any of them deserve to be in the bottom 10? Which Charmed, the revival or the original? It doesn't matter. I haven't seen either one. I saw the first 2 episodes of The Inhumans. That was terrible. Worst TV show of all time? I don't know about that, but it ain't good. That was real bad. That was real bad. And The Acolyte has no business being in the bottom 10. Like, we know The Acolyte is not in the bottom 10 because it's actually that bad. Like, this is why I don't care about IMDb scores. Same reason, like, I don't really care about Rotten Tomato scores from the critic side, and I really don't care about viewer review scores. Because they get bombed. They get bombed by people who hate it, or love bombed by people who want it to appear better than it is. So, like, I don't put a lot of stock in that, but in the strictest sense, to answer your question, Inhumans maybe deserves to be on there. The Acolyte does not. And it wasn't even that good, but no. Bottom 10, hell no. Okay. Coming back to the main chat. Oh! We got a couple of super chats. Bubbles by Bimmy Bell. That's a mouthful. Has become a channel member. Thank you very much. I appreciate that immensely. And Coyote. No one's SC'd yet, so here. Just dropping a super chat. I appreciate that, Coyote. Very nice. I miss mid-tier games. I miss mid-tier movies. I miss mid-budget movies. I miss that we used to be able to reliably get just real solid 3-star fun movies. Not life-changing, not award contenders, but like that was a good time. I miss those. Ever say the old Flash Gordon movie / serials with the Sparky spaceships? Even that isn't that bad. Worst TV show of all time is Rocket Robin Hood. I don't know that one. I get most of the Trump-Clinton jokes are meant that way. The thing, I don't trust people to understand that properly and just take it in a homophobic direction. Well, just deal with individuals when they do. Like, I'm not above it, but I am always hesitant to be like, nobody should be saying this in a lot of cases just because it really is specifics. Like, can that be taken in a bad way? Yes. When somebody does, call them out on it. I'm always hesitant to be like blanketly, yes, this is always that. When it can be that, and when it is, address it. Do you see any value in remaking modern games as old Sega or Nintendo games? Oh, the D-makes. Personally, other than as a technical exercise, I don't really get it, but I see the amount of effort that gets put into those things, and it's impressive. So, power to the people who do it. Is it for me? No, I don't get it. I need to see the rest of Stranger Things. I saw season 1 when it came out. Haven't caught up on the rest. You've seen the best. You've seen as good as it's going to get, Gabriel. Just telling you that now. And I have no idea why the chat's not using my Coyote Azul call sign. It's done that to both my things. It's just doing everybody's ats and not like their custom things. It's weird. I don't know why it's started being like that. I don't know if that is like something I can address or not. I should look into that. See season 2, then stop. No, like if you're not going to just stop at season 1, watch through season 3, then stop. I watched first Doctor Who special effects sucked real bad, but the acting made up for it. I mean, that's a whole other conversation about how it used to be, especially on TV, much more acceptable to accept just bad-looking effects if the story was good. And that's not really a thing anymore either. My Inferno level Doctor Who take is that it all should have been about Susan. Not even entirely sure what you mean by that. The thing I was saying about the color scheme in Galactica, I feel like a lot of TV and movie from the 2000s. I mean, yeah, things wanted to be gritty and realistic and grounded. Video games went through the same thing, tail end of the 2000s into the early 2010s. the brown-gray shooter era of video games. I will maintain my position that season 3 sucks. You are entitled to that wrong opinion. I was so angry at the end of season 1 of Stranger Things with that teaser because I knew exactly what it was going to become. See, I didn't mind it because I just took season 1 as a pretty complete package as is. And season 1 is, to my taste, borderline immaculate. But, phew. I'd rather just watch season 1 of Stranger Things. I honestly don't care how the 5th season turns out. Nor do I! That's actually gonna kind of be what Saturday's video is. I thought I was over how much I hate Vecna. I'm not. So I talk for a half hour about how much I hate Vecna. Oh, it's real bad. What do you use to stim? I mean, if you mean like with my hands, just whatever's nearby. I try to not do stuff that's too noisy. One thing that I've got here is I've got this pen, and you know it's just a standard click pen, but this bit at the top spins and actually spins really well. So one of the things that I'll do is just flick that. That's a good one. It's a little, there's sound to it, but it's not too bad. I will also maintain the position that season 2 is good. Well, Nick, I will maintain the position that the best episode of the season is the episode everybody hates. So, don't know what to tell you. Do you miss when TV was TV separate from movies, not just short cut-up films? I mean, I think most TV series are still more than that, but like they have a lot of TV series have started to feel like more like mini-series. Have you ever played any of the American McGee's Alice games? I never did. I remember looking at a lot of the concept art back when the first one came out, thinking that was nifty because I was in my edgy late teens era of my life. But no, I never did play them. Susan is clearly the main character. It worked more narratively. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad it became what it was, but Susan made more sense as the main protag. It was never going to be about Susan, though. Like, Susan is so intriguing in that very first episode, and then she becomes not very quickly. It really is a shame. Why do you hate Vecna? Like I said, I needed a half hour to go into all the reasons. If you want the short version, I think personifying the Upside Down into a single being that is way more comprehensible than anything else in the show up to that point completely diminishes the eldritch energy that the show had going up to that point. Now it's just about this one, pardon my language, fucking guy. I don't care. I'm sure they won't, but it should be like 92 or 93 in the Stranger Things universe now. Oh yeah, who the heck knows? I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some kind of time jump, which given the way season 4 ended makes no sense. It makes almost no sense to do a time jump from where they left off, but they're gonna have to unless they want to digitally de-age the entire child cast. Not even child, like they're all in their 20s now. They're adults. All right, sorry. I was seeing something that I'm actually not sure what that's in reference to, so I'm going to skip it. The only excuse for shaky cam is if you're too low budget to rent a steady cam. No, there are artistic reasons to go handheld. Now, when it's like not just, you know, the normal bob and weave of handheld, and you can tell someone's artificially, you know, having it shake more, or they're doing this. Screw that. There are valid artistic reasons to have handheld camera work. I don't particularly care for it. I would prefer Steadicam, but it's not as if there's no narrative, artistic validity or reason to do handheld camera work. I mean, that's up there, Nick. That is among the major sins of the character for sure. Let's do the time jump again unenthusiastically. Is that different from the time warp? uh So I'm just scrolling back at something. All right. Casts are now the age I was when the first season dropped. Hang on. I'm trying to see if I'm completely misremembering something. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown has a kid. Adopted, but like still. Stranger Things would certainly vibe differently if they managed to get it done in 5 years. Probably filming 2 seasons back to back to achieve that. I mean, I think a lot of what has happened is just, initially the wait from Netflix to figure out, that they were going to renew it again and how big the budget was going to be, and then they scale up the story with the budget, and then that takes more planning. It was just a cascading thing. Been watching Joy of Painting to calm down. Any shows you watch to calm down? No. I work too much to do stuff just to calm down. Like, there's stuff I'll put on as background noise, usually YouTube videos that I've seen before. But one of these days I will try and get better about legitimately just taking time to relax. I'm really bad at that. Not sure what you're basing that on, Ms. Wicked Wolf, but we do not need to start a thing about that. Do you plan on seeing the Macy's parade? I mean, it'll be on in the background at Thanksgiving because we always put it on. Hollywood needs to go back to practical effects more. CGI take up half the production time now or more. I mean, like, look, here's the problem. The problem is not strictly speaking CGI. The problem is the combination of CGI and studios and networks not wanting to give artists the time that they need to make that stuff look as good as possible. Most of the cases, not all, but most of the cases where CGI is used, practical effects either are not realistically viable or would actually be more expensive than doing the CG. But part of the reason that that's true is that they crunch the hell out of CG artists. So part of the reason that practical effects cost more is because that they are unionized. Effects workers, visual effects workers are not. So if they were paid properly, what it would cost would probably be about similar. Or if they just gave effects studios enough time, to actually get these things looking as good as they could, and not forcing them to crunch ridiculous hours in order to get it out on a date that's already been set. And there's a whole bidding process with effects studios that quickly becomes a race to the bottom. There's a lot of messed up things about the CGI side of the industry, and it is not as straightforward as practical is better, CGI sucks. The reason most CGI sucks is because they didn't let the effects workers finish. Like that is the honest truth. It's not that the effects suck. It's that because they were unwilling to wait for as long as it was going to take to make it look really good, it looks bad. Like that's why there are effects from the early 2000s that look better than effects in movies now. It's why the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, those first three, look better than a lot of movies now. It's why the Lord of the Rings movies look better than a lot of movies made now. It's not that like they somehow knew technology that's been lost. Like the tech is all better, but you need time. Those movies had it. Ones made now don't. The dog show. Oh, we always put the dog show on. Love the dog show. If you consider taking up knitting or crocheting as a way of calming, I find crocheting very relaxing and therapeutic. Nope, I have never considered taking up either of those. No, I'm not a crafty person. I can't do that kind of stuff idly. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to focus on it, and then it's not relaxing. I hope you get $1 from all the ads we're getting. I'm sorry that you're getting those. Wait, are those interrupting the stream? They shouldn't be. God, frickin'. Groot looks worse in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 than he did in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 because they had less time. Oh, they also redesigned him. So that might have been part of it. El problema es el capitalismo. Yeah. I mean, yeah, generally. Most things. True story. With Gremlins 3 now having an official release date, I hope they do practical effects for the Mogwai and the Gremlins. Otherwise, I'm going to skip it. I don't want them CG'd. Yeah, like the puppetry was a huge part of the appeal of both those movies. I can't say I'm excited. We'll see what a trailer looks like eventually. Speaking of CGI, Prehistoric Planet Ice Age is coming out tomorrow. They should actually look amazing since the effects are the point. Well, I hope that they do. Ads hide chat. Oh, like the ones on the side. Oh, those things. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably get a little off that. Like, ad revenue on a per view basis is fractions of a penny. I got premium, so I hope you get a cut. I don't know how premium impacts live streams. I know that a view from somebody who has a premium subscription pays slightly better than a view from somebody who's just watching the ads. That's always a reassurance I have to give whenever I talk about the income. And people are like, oh my gosh, I use premium. Does that mean you don't get revenue? No, actually, I get slightly better on a per-click basis. Compared to the ads. But anyways, I am going to wrap it up for the day. Thank you all for joining me. Have you seen the It movies? I did. They're mid. So I'm going to wrap it up. Saturday's video, as I already said, is going to be about Stranger Things and why I hate Vecna. I thought I was over it. Turns out I'm not. Yeah. There will not be a gaming stream on the second channel tomorrow. Just too much holiday stuff bumping up against it. I'm not going to do that. I am expecting to stream on Friday, and yeah, so that's what is coming up in the immediate sense. So thank you all for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Be well, be safe, be kind. And remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, you are loved. You are the council, and I am just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned.